This is Buadu TV, truth and integrity.
Uzema munyina kwa ba Fabra Buadu TV so na yebeso say o first time ana wa subscribe na afi wa like video no comment nso ho hia de oja to wi na wa share e de amaye yedase na de tie ne say o mampanyin John Drama ne Mahama eba adwaso yi no chese seat match ayaye kodi ye kovuta ne ko east ne ko ashanti no dabi ebo Ghana ka eti obeye wo Jubilee House ana se Flagstaff House na etimi abo me service ka no ko ebitim da bibi fofo now ohene ba a owo iwuntumi TV bisa se sika no jedie ma odinano na kan na se yampa se be ebitimi services ka no na dia ade no mode ye yes NPP fo bi nso betra so no kranie omo asopa NDC ye papa concerning amanfo aye twitwa womo appointment letter mu ya pamom ya sakiom me nyina ya de amode hongomo debusia yonkotie bi
Independence Day celebration mate se fellows kwachi ofosu ene abaina nkasa ekase enam se womu ekodi national one ewa mampani aboboa no the seat of government say eye Jubilee House say eye Flagstaff House oma sevu esika empen bia na sa afibia yedidi independence no oma sevu about 90% a wombezo mo chese be 20 million Ghana cedis bi and say $20 million so and ya save and pay asem you see John Dramani Mahama ending up by mum penny for afa kwan bi so say debi a o makan kasa debi na o matu na mo bi a some popular activities made and other decisions be ebema o manya a goodwill from the Ghanaian people. Entino asem no mechanic that to turn national idea. Oh, you're appointing ministers no more than 60. Now so presidential staffers are appointed. Ah, marketia, ebinum there any minister the airpay, ebinum there any deputy minister airpay no. Not just say yes, oh bobo no say abanyi baye while appointing ministers no more than 60. Then so sika another a car abayne airbo. Our presidential staffers no. It is not go appointing ministers, any deputy ministers bear 10, and I said, yeah, bear 100, and I say bear 110. Entino, Quasukwa, Nazroya Quentia. Entino, Oma shall say to Triam Rade, and no pay Massabine simple. Say, Abine say, was saving Ghana about 90% of the cost every year. Now on mino, yebo, our Independence Day celebration, why? Sikano omache de odekoye ebia okọ mikrom atwemangwa be ja south maybe a chiefs compound any hono chiefs compound do a sikane betumi asi no onko sinsi ho na on for signboard amo ho on for sha de amo ho say Independence Day ye ndin say de ye didi no sika ye save ye de ye nie on tese be wuru sa de no he ye ntumi nyene nsem na o kan edi ebisa ye tikrom hayi Independence Day no ye diri wo national one ye dia mensiri bia ediri de mensiri bia mbaka wo ho afi mikrom atwema beja south Independence Day ye di bi honum atwema kwa ngoma district ese kwa the municipal ye di bi honum kemefo edi omu de ba bia eno ametie news no Accra Metropolitan Assembly wo mu de me adanse asokwa so mu de omu de entino sikana was save no ewa hen eyesai edia ba potro di sikana be ye enfoso e benya woso no ene sai another sikana ya save ba ye mfanya hwe sikana ya save omu ne koto akodi sikana ya save anasa ayira ewa hen and so was save sikana ya save no enye ze dawa ya save na Ghana for petie ebia enka yebetimi atoduro e de akwa asupiti bi enje beto sukuru nkonya be wa ha enam se yenya sika e de free Independence Day celebration ni muniti no enkonya ne yento wa ha yebetimi ato ahanu anasa hasa ne ewru se ampa ya se wusika na sika nzo ba mfoso amaye enti asam no eye Papa John Dramani Mahama yenim se enfie nan ya ye ne wo betre krom asam mampani a ye de ani die ne obuo de be ma wo ne de ensem a de de wo be ka bi a kire ye pa na mom ye mu bi no enye za asam ne de ana ye pa tio asam ne de ani mudro ene no kura wom ene ye be hwehwe ade atie enti ye boy ensem ma wo Independence Day no one we are celebrating moderately. Ya say sika bebrebe said ya wode wapamfo mo ka no na mom sika na ya ansai no ewa he because me ka some way because the last budget abadada no present ye no minim say no minim say ye be the Independence Day no na the new government ya John Dramani Mahama abai no monye mo budget and the mafata in the celebration of the independence, especially where the preparation begins weeks or a month ahead. In the area, there was an allocation. It is an allocation to one more. Numbers of mom here in the Southern Quebec, and the seven Sikano, Adio Patea, Papa John Mahama, only the Vice President of the Republic, Excellency Nana Opokwajimai, the Mundi Sikana Bayano, Monkama Hunu. Na yenya word as die na ekyere bi no say akontabuo eba ye hunu de ebebusa eni nyano a ye pe e de afrim ho right afa matese Ghana Education Service enso ababonte abekasa say wo mu a abayi terminate wo appointment say abayidada no ana efa wo adwuma enti onti asem wo mu nya adwuma no wo mu be ye bibia potokase mechanical validation na odo certificate beba wo de license beba oba be chese why national service enema de bebrebe ansana say wo mu abe restore your appointment na say so mu abe sign ama akwa yadwuma eye enema mienu na miensa pe de wum hey the government still want to use this to get the goodwill of the people say yakra na nke osi yimodi ene yehu momobo ene asa afa modwuma it is always da bia enye na nado aban na etwa mu no enye Dr. Maobia ene na nado aban na etwa mu no nebom eye John Dramani Mahama aban na aba no efi se ene ma bia na wo se nka aban na ye na oma wunya adwuma emra kwan mu na wo hare no aban na anye enti ye ba ye kase yi wadi no nanso ye de ba he no ya dwene hu bi de hu bobo ya validate too asa mo adwuma ye it is always da bia former John Dramani Mahama aban a smart move and aban no no the other one can also be say mini aheri na boache your national organizer lawyer and afe Vincent Ekwesefua emeki an attempt to omuko court nom dia sem na kodan court no bia aban fi say obedi for enti the back and forth bi kwampo a na je say compensation be say I am not prejudicing the case. Nemo say be abai no kwadi fo a na bi kwampo a court akwahye say and the mom from patasika bi and massa afo na unlawfully more illegally mo terminate your appointment no it is all about ya enkoba sa no and the enka say be validation na one and arrest it can also be say bwana abai na body timu po say o ma mo nya adwuma entino validation any nyina wi a was niema na nke pese ehunu enkrata asema na so mo deba any neba bi no mo meet the requirement no entino legally you deserve to go home sanya man kitinkiti agro we na NDC aban no Papa John Mahama woni ye die o enti the Ghanaian people no enye ensem amobeti a eyensem da omasum a efi aban we you are banya so budi bodi di eche they are smartly going to live with us in these 4 years ye twemu busum bienu amanaka enfie miansa ne abusum be eduru enti no open your eyes widely na enema le se wodi wani hu no fa wadwen soso a process ade na wodi wani ehunu no na wuru emudura eye ene no kra ene ewom anyesa there is going to be so many populist decisions and then populist activities are one shot ebe slow say just aban when there say they will see TSM or listening government no you Ghana phone or JTM phone and yes and so edikan ayi was to say budget papa yi ene bay one shot levy over to say a chum betting tax over to say a chum and remember budget so especially Bosha ma ene Jomon ne I still nominate Kwame Fred moi betting taxi just all the heavy question on the betting taxes you are may betting tax no e be yam de name e maro fi say e to bi wo ho no mo a e bia omu introduce new tax but e to bi wo ho da omu be increase percentage ayetua no wo mu de sika ayetua no be abeto so se roto no e ba edomba fo kuntura se se o baako o di bongum ama baako no afa ba kwan bi so di nifa agimienu anasa miensa de afuo wa bra se wa ma woni ada ho a uhu tubezo akonya be na bon se be sha yo Mahama be yi ile de afuo yo Mahama be yi betting tax afuo na eno na ye ka chem se mon fe money mon ha money na fe mumie masum asema obete no process it the ubehu no process it what you will feel process it
okay
what is
yes January February March until just exactly 2 months probably
yeah what the 2 months into two first time 2 months no one the experience the happenings we are Parliament baby I find they be had in for her you see YD card will become put him so you MP near busan big grandpa be he kakra no et say
what kinds of YD card when I'm asking my symmetry. I think part of the first 2 months in Parliament. Also do Parliament there are 4 sets of elevators and there were job 600 more.
Yeah.
There is the extreme ones, that service the members of Parliament, the choir officers, and there's the middle ones too, and also serve the general public at the Baho. Until most of them done not because of easiness, it is preferred that we would use the elevators as say a designated one. The coffee back. Before any gym na do first floor na aircon and na mama back was there OMP and I'm so MP I was constituency number was okay so okay and MIBC meeting because those are some of those things because in the initial setup will be a shed nimu because when you coffee for will be a for but this 2 months because we had the experience of the first Parliament which was the 8th Parliament, I think by and large the expectations, probably it hasn't changed because you know your way around, you know how things will probably pan out. You can even predict sending a bedding ABCIA. So ordinarily, things have been well, but not so well because in terms of the happenings in the chamber and in near money be a question. You don't presume that Sana was in K, but looking at what has happened in the elections, I think that one way or the other you cannot say yes, Sana.
Right. So, I mean, free the elections that we went, we have a Parliament, and then we have to see Amamuna and Kasemu. First time, meaning say, Okoye na independence, he came back proud because. Wako Parliament, and then your party also won the elections until your party were by near their day, and then unfortunately we go into an election again. You won, but your party lost. What has it taken away from politics? And now we and then what you had wanted to do, especially when you were in power for your constituents.
One, not only what it has taken away, not a year free me but the year free of mining in our crime. Because on the there was a sense of hope for this country. Say on mining kind croning in Supani and Sabeden Ebeka. The year free what the me greatly Nikasi pay that sense of hope that we had, and I would say that we had as a country because we cannot run away from it. Ebi a yehunu ni nti ye bo continue he eche yen hu de we ni ni nti if is the way eche no na enye but enne coming back on an independence day and I see a sense of say despair in people. And it's just 2 months, but I can promise you that I see a sense of lost opportunities and future for looking at the discourse that is going on. I see a sense of our developmental pattern and progress and that in effect and no that is what has actually been taken away from me, because me home the free more as a person and that's why na me want senior na me who mind corner. I was doing that said na me ye eweni padodo din say baby to me this an kind number and na free hono it will limit our ability to do or deliver ya ho de nyuma mu na senke betimi ai no oye nden so beti because sabi de hono ono wadwene inside de hono onim se na esi bon continue hwe yanim emfie bebre mu e de chechire o man the ohunu aye ene ono instant gratification on one yeden and that is what it has taken away from us, because the country would ordinarily ene de o kan enipa nya botre enti and I agree with you say, because always in the elections and a call yenwa and no bia nani dasoa or the koto aba no feel say do na be mama nipa no, because bia then the penny feel say the NPP the nipa do be yen intini ankotena echi intini se bibi because na wo kan people don't actually take time say obeka some ko na wi no achechi no, but by the time we realized no ohini anhwe ya ni apeje man ni abone fe yase, but I think that we are not going to give no matter senior a nipa a be the hindrance will be there, because I never can say more the responses that you get when we yank manye when we yank manye, you understand. But near that coupe near Zuba to boy you from Ampafin Besi. A abutre Juman and Shashay Pania de Church or mine, a jibre, but that jibre was sending that's why they a womb. So if you don't see that hope, you don't see that safe, there is a vision in it there, then there is a problem. And that's where we are finding ourselves now in this country.
I have officially not gotten an opportunity to engage you after the elections. Because see, to you, what went wrong? And to the people of Menshanov, come over and moody no honor. Then see,
Ohene, if we should be candid to ourselves, this elections here it define Yema Bibri. Ohene, the joy I have, and I would say the joy I have, even in losing this election, that people believed in the NPP, people believed in our policy, people believed in the leader that we brought. Yes, and I'll tell you why. They actually did not turn out to vote against us. On Pia Bontina Kotuaba and Fentiai, but one Kotuabano. And the figures show clearly, because all man penny are winning Abasisi and they vote to the 2020 general elections. The Abeka Andrew and Pimoha. It is not up to 100,000 votes. But a voter, as the new patriotic party in the year 2020, now he in the year, a swanty over 2 million votes. But nobody can tell me that 2 million votes in Nipanewu. Come to my constituency. In my constituency, the last election about 39,000 votes. This election about 29,000 votes. The difference was about 9,887 votes. Omo in 2020. No demand our in Omempia Bontina Mametuaba, because the vote of the NDC increase
in your constituency.
Yes, it was 16,000 the last election. It was the same 16,000. 16,000 in the last election, 16,000 in this election. It did not increase. But people will go, you see, I'm doing the raw figures because it doesn't translate into percentages.
Yeah.
And that is where people don't get it. We are most often quick to use percentages to judge results. But I would always use the raw figures. Because here, raw figures of about 18 million Ghanaians are near expected some betuabano. And no one said so if you have about a Nipa work constituency about 71,000 last election, 39,000 at Tuaba, Ediama. Then 29,000 and you use that as a percent in our DJG, you get it wrong. But whatever went wrong in the day, I believe sincerely say, you cannot have just one meeting to discuss that. And in that also, I must say, And there are various committees and nam eji adwenkyere na echire ekwan krontia efa so ebi aman kunimdi ane epen entimi amem. One of those committees here, the Ashanti region, and the findings about the trouble and the discussions are ongoing. I believe that now that the findings is out there, I think the discussion we should leave it out there. One way na we would not be able to appreciate the panic and so that it would inform us. Because if we also engage, we must sit down, soberly reflect on whatever has been said in the reports now, and also wait for.
Have you read the report?
I have not read the report in full.
Okay.
Because one, I've seen the report on social media. I've seen copies of it. I've tried to peruse through that, but I would always want to have an official copy. Those social media, you can say but I would want to have an official copy and dissect Emuniade. Or maybe the woman reflective of what may have happened.
Yeah.
But then also it will guide and because they do tembia. Maybe we are even preempting that so that we can have a solution to those ones. I don't believe say yes, the man in Yebeka the woman and it be a very palatable to every single person, regardless of what it is. But whatever the case is, we can make our case out of that.
Were you at a point saw this coming?
If I say me who say maybe I'll be a liar. Maybe I'm a canocrat. Say me who say we are facing a defeat in that magnitude. And when I say that magnitude, even in terms of parliamentary results, you look at the number of seats that we lost. Money idea and places that we probably want to see bit me lose, but we lost those seats. Money idea. Nobody, and I can confidently tell you, even the NDC by themselves, even some of their candidates in parliament today never saw themselves winning the elections. They never. Yes, winning elections, and they fielded candidates because there was the need to go for an election. On the one because no was here quite to breast. Anything more they never saw themselves winning. But it has I can't be being a dear chair. They say it has defiled everything. To never the reasons that people are giving, they do tell. I remember, says the general secretary of a party, Kateche Kudian, in a school, Tamika Kateche Kudian, even said one time, if it's true, say he believes that there is some level of a spirituality even in it.
Yeah.
Because it defies the understanding that he has. So there's a do tembina and you on TSAPia. Yes, you might sort to resort to you want to say, oh, you be a bit me at this side at the Abba. But it tells you say the Ghanaian is dynamic. Missy P and your court to abandon the Bioman Penny and the Wabenya be 7 million vote, 8 million voter. It would have told you say a child tia it will be behind. The people believed in that. Omunim say yen ye bit me my baby and niema baako mienu miensa bi anko yi e won susudie. But the other is not an alternative. We believe in this man coming, but because of the party enabling munintino yen pim kotoaba ena dim kunimdie e de koma yen nuanma wo NDC ebremu. But one thing I would also urge yen as a party and is a Yahweh baby and take certain decisions of reform to a party. Yahweh yes.
Say the Atrian.
Yeah.
Yan doso no nimun komoyi.
Yeah.
Na enkomwa amanfo di nsema amanfo kano ye tumirika ekutie na ye tu anamo bia emwa amanyoko no.
Yeah. One way out the America, ewo ensem baako mienu miensa a wokoso a wotie no nti osem de be yen sachaye obewie no one ya no agu na brim. And I believe say yenya abotre.
Can you open up to me?
Let me tell you one. And the NMI can for delegate system.
Yeah.
And the NMI can for. So everybody who have Padu doing in so the delegate system must be scrapped.
Say both even people outside our party NDC for cry say ye busuo for election 2024 mu any the delegate system no. Any
delegate system no mo de call ekwaye omo prime minister ekwaye omo presidential candidate omo so didi nkuni. Anya no ebi. Say no ebi.
Yeah.
If there are reforms that we ought to do, I don't just see firm we can 10% maybe. And I'll give you a classical example. When so offer delegates a 2 presidential in the year 2007. It was 10 per constituency.
10 people, yeah.
About 230 constituencies. Okay, 2,300. Plus all the auxiliary account. I mean, just say you do 3,000. But those days, that is when, if you remember, Esidun Ketia made that infamous statement about the 17 individuals co-elections. I didn't know the cancer. Maybe it was because of the outflow of certain resources at the year elections.
And I remember the story of, was it Lord Comey?
Yeah, those days are
illegal. $2
no problem.
Near the day until the
and drive it down to today. Yamfa drew a formula
over 200,000.
200,000. And you have some krona neka.
Same for 4 years.
So if we carry it, say, to Nipabe over 3 million, let us be candid enough to ourselves. Are you sure? Say still now people will not facilitate the elections. It is probably not because of Enon Quentia. It is not probably because of the numbers in Quentia. It tells you now there are people and no Becca party Nassim because more an affection towards the party. They might even be sympathizers of the party. It doesn't necessarily mean say who that party in their tuomona so mundo so on bedani and also or the Faman crab ebeye. It was during campaign and I met one elderly man. The nama campaign ye could do na oka about delegate system. Dim community na onu busa se na ye konesa. And I was papa. Yempun to juma ene ahofama ne adwuma aban no aye na yentimi fantoaso. Then he made a point say na wa okra party mu no mo ko ha koto aban ko amoti mo keska na ye koto abakesi na amayewe. Now the man maybe felt say probably you might want to deny that. No be can delegate. So there were some of them behind me. And you know mutinko. Because once I come asem. Emoni ade. I say no papa. No kra wo kan ba pa force do tembe deserve na ketwa. Let us be bold enough to at least do tembe and confront the situation. Also I say people for montina day mu nanti FFM ne enko campaign. Once any abedu and me no campaign. These are the same crop of people that will come to you. When who so appear become wasem. Anameboa. Opiesu no woko ne bia facilitating the movement also ono na odi bibia nsem ntinke nyina ye nso ni emum se na wonti anam no beka sananka aka ho whatever you think say nka onya no bibia nka onsa so beka. I mean do time bia we resent to ourselves and sit expecting people ye hwese nkofu bekọ akoye adwuma bi wanye adwuma ne bebo onso bo but wo ye adwuma so ne efiu se bia odi ahofama sonko bi so o ye a efiu se bibi wo mu anipa ne nya ebi ono so de odo na ye a wonfo odo nye. Me wanna me a phone call. But one person who would want to become a delegate, a polling station executive. Let me say, I say one thing and person me beye, say beye me to aba ma on can be brave, can be brave. Let me say, mate, cause mo no, and a sika, and then one thing and person me to man be saying to the oba onyiska, or some magic, but wouldn't think I me ba no matuma ba the amount. So what is the difference between wo? Any the woman be a can want some what this can? We are all the same. We are all the same. If we want to go beyond some of these things, it do time be so. Say we can take that selection process from them for some time. It is not only elections and it is selected leaders. It is not only elections and it is selected leaders. What the many part 3,000, for instance, my constituency has over 700 people. Polling state. What the many part 3,000, that's still almost a map. There will still be any panning below if you say a be still privileged few. And when ultimately can't say a ne could do now so you will be able to tell me say every card bearing member of this our party. To become a card bearing member, it must come with certain responsibilities. I was any panny. Can anybody tell me say any your people in this party who owes a responsibility to this party, even in terms of sustaining the party? No polling station executive, I don't remember ever anybody in the last 4 years, 6 years, or contributed towards the growth of the party financially. Wow. Or in a man, wow. You and I know. So if you want to have every card-bearing member, these people must be tried and tested for some time. So, in terms of the American, the decision out there, any recommendation out there, any this is not the first time we've had this delegate system or polling station executive system in our party. It has survived for a period. Maybe as it goes forward, no, it be a BB can't say how we must reform our party. But regardless of the numbers, and soon so do say our numbers in BC Impuno.
I don't know, so why engage or constituents, no, and if they share in this a viewer or Aludia.
Yes, and then you penny be sharing the same view that I have. Tom said the reasons why we lost this election. Oheneba Breo. Oheneba Namon to a boom. Got to a brand here back. On the problem now, they got to a body party. And they say, betting tax. The problem in the way we are. No matters when you're free teachers, no matters where we investing, our tech. The problem are winning for 27 solid good minutes.
So I would want to ask.
But be so reason to ABTI because the person has invited you for a program. On why any program a share date. And I've told him that there is a program on that date and possible. So that's same meeting there should be to me. And until that person voted against me now. Yes, me now. The person is a lady.
So what I want to ask is election 2024.
Yes.
A NPP party in the Lusu election, no? And I say NPP party, a former government, not government, in Lusu election. Am I?
Whatever the case is the NPP that has lost election. Whether the party, whether the government, money, it's a party in the Wabai. The party in the Wabai. It's a party in the Wabai.
I'm trying to see the weight of the responsibility. Whether say party no and answer are responding to the concerns the amount for a kind be and I say a government no and NTA are responding you be a nigusu yet by you be a nigusu. Who should the burden the weightier of the burden placed on?
Immediately you do that one where you miss a step in it. You say a boy can't account new way any tear. But as I say opinion woba nasa akrane asubrache or tene baby nka. So it tells you that in both sides obi and obefane ho adi. If you are telling me say we can place it in the context be as a partner aban wo ye no my problem. Say party na woba. Today another party na aba ne bana wa wo. So can the party exonerate itself or herself from the banner or war no actions and inactions and and then now we're there, now we're trending. And then 19 I went to me. Those ones you still have to carry the blame. But here there are some fundamental problems and the party itself, as will be, the government would also have some because of the reasons that people give into Oman to Abakra. So in all of those, in terms of the ending Ashanti region, the Enaba, and you're discussing now, there are other 16. And Ashanti region in Kwa intimate winning elections.
Yeah.
There are other 15 regions and also count, which would also bring its results on board. I mean, across the country, every single place is except few. And you can't even say except few. Because if you are from 169 to 137
and then to 88,
it must tell you that there is something that is going on. So they are saying. So you cannot ordinarily say a baby baku penkwa dienti and anying. But there be a boss be a none way there because the strength of our party resides at Tias and Memu Intino. That is why it is important say a buy and year kind but we cannot also gross over the account. Tamga say yenya de beba no wia near the juxtapose the huna santimemuna e betimi am yehunu say eye nokre ene ohina sema okay eye party no pa na the weightier blame no ebeda so anasa ne ba na ya ban no wo no ena the weightier blame ebeda so ti enya hu ne saa so ne ade wie a ekwan benso ne betimi aka ne mienu na ade aden ade abon going forward because offer asantememu di nko abai and use that now fa no nko na wo de ye say eno na they diagnosing nyina for the whole country a ohene na bia ho no ye ba be mistake by we na afia for 15 regions na aka ni na dia ka ba ko na 16 afa ozo be draw kan ni draw be Venn diagram o draw ni nyina na we da ha that means across the country this was an issue we da across the country this was an issue we da a peculiar to therefore we are they are peculiar to every single region, they are peculiar to the party, they are peculiar to the government, and place weight on them so that you can use that to reform your party going forward.
Still on the concerns, Niaman na man for can some no more cano. The nanke wa kwenya se betimi a correct no. I am correct no. Any the nanke ntimi nyi ano kra no. Emudi ene na wosoro. Just like Abranti will say, washing a date, wama, and we are here. There are some that the party or the government could have responded to, and I think we could have acted on them. I know you be a niguso.
Oh, Obe can be a levy, Obe can be a betting tax. Those are some two prominent in the if you say
their contribution is it that significant?
Well, can my single opinion now? It seems say no say no significant no.
It might not be your single opinion because it has PSA it can be.
Yeah, of course. But has it reflected in any actual research? It's me a PM research PM. But even if these were the only two reasons in tier to tier, can anybody tell me that we could have given a quick response to it in the instant? Why not? Remember, we promised, His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia promised, said these two taxes, it be free, and I'm John Dramani Mahama also promised, said this will be free, and I'm say, enemy no kwana, say, I can mean future promises to that effect. But we'll be catching us, or the Kotuma way because he said, or cancel between because one out the buy, and I'm and in genuine fan to one, say, you between class and Kwan Farmer cry. Emuniade. Tom can say, the dynamics of say, ye bu on my. And I'll give you one. Sabi abetia say, ye fa na ye and trouble ni ye bui. So beka a brain mo ne nipa ni bi kra start won adwuma recruitment e bi ye May e bi ye June anomoni ade ana ye form adwuma. Ye fa ya make wie ma o man panyine ehunu say ya fa nipa no bi wa adwuma mu. Yegusu aye fa nipa no bi wa adwuma ma ye mo na kwanya mo be ye adwuma na so no de oba sa won a ya fa won num ni nyina no onyi wo madi na obefa ne de aye den e de aka ho okan e ma nipa nya ni mu arehyimu ni gidie e ma ode asem foforo ka ho mom ye se o wanie ye beti ase sa de ama no it means say de owie ye obeka kire biem say won a ne ye fa mu na ne ye fa asoso ebro e de egu won so sebe ya wo ba wona memu a oba bebu nbe ye diam wo mu no enti oyi wona di by the letter the chief of staff route no na no cho say na no kure na no oka ne sa abre ne kire ya na se no oka di ni papa so wote no de bi to so amani pa fa di atum ama na kwanya ye de ma no ba yi enya de oka no ba be ye enti niam ni bi wo ha empremprem wo no bi ha wa adwene mu no office se me gina ho enne na nkema solve a it would have reflected in a certain political gain. But however, we must also be candid to ourselves. As we transition, ebrano, and many businesses. Why? We came into government, made so many taxes. At that time, we believe that these were nuisance taxes. We knew at that time we were under IMF program. We knew that some of these things were part of the conditionalities at that time for the IMF program. But regardless of what, and now see a new send is of mine, and you knew how to negotiate well money at the internet. You buy those taxes in the floor. You do your boss so Emma still, even Bosia na ebimu susu say yen timinya ni sabrin by just in fear 20 years a chianzani ebeyem. We still went ahead and implemented it. And no money at we did all of those things. But then here we are 2 year promises were given by the current president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, about scrapping of some taxes. And no be catch say, a fein who say, they were part of some conditionalities. And you know, it is not so obvious. Say animu ye, obetimi ye de free ho. It shows the truthfulness. When you pam you no money at the end. And yes, bia. We could have responded there and then. Why we crown one a crime so no? Kebetma many people say, oh, nya chudwuma die nya ye den. Ye did ya kire wo no. Because ye can't no more you say nya kwanya ni fi na den. So betimi asa de abamoni ade. Even if you said you could have suspended it. And money ade. Ka wo ye wi so a. We try nyin pa so anim ho na mprempren ni mu nti. And I wo ye sebe ya batwo bredu so nti na wo de ye money ade. To let us know and wait and find up and check, because the committees the more mandate and webia Ashanti region there Bosumi Pepe near there, the whole country there. You say by this time they've almost toured every single place because they divided themselves and money out there. Yeah, my home be a bear Bosumia. That report would also come. Ye tienye dusoni, then we can boldly and blazingly. You bet me a Pia Bontina can say, and near my way, and now way, you know, any be a armor. And use that to court our people back, because they know we are the best party with the greatest individuals in us to be able to help this country progress and prosper. And we
are happy with the conversation going on within the party, and I think Bibia put until after the national committee report. Now you bet me portions of the report will be so classified, sensitive, that they might not be able to share with the public or the party people. But the beti me di mu nkomo na fi ahyasie but it does appear say amanfo adi committee nanim ekrampo no nti the omu position their views if it does not sync with the report never bana they will rubbish everything.
So on of what I say, because ohene me menya akwanya metia enipa ATM ko bia be opepepe mu ne echi nti the American ni no ebi nipa dodo ote but almost so na omudi nkomo bebre no abra nipa dodo nya akwanya nti ye no bi kura one vote omusu kura one vote on be doso asene mebre ameti he mu ne ade nti the American ni ya ka say factual ade na wonte dodo no aka ne de no a ebi ade me nko amede na betro ebi nipa dodo so atimi de omo kan yi but wo so omo koye kodi nkomo tie nipa dodo bebrebe anu asem omo kan na me de ebo ebra nti omo de nba be so na ba be wura krata animu avebeka say enya sa na nipa dodo oka. And we feel because there are portions of this report that obviously and then you may see now what's your quabontin quaka. And then you may see because yent minka and you may see now our bontine. It will be for the internal purposes of our party's reform. Because yes, you be quabontin quaquisiakai. It is said you see a biano, you better bontin and sign your becker and money idea. It's obvious it is a be a way we are bontine. One new strategy and reforms be a bayan one, a bit medium, Kakafo for Nia Kenya for the Abba, a bit me a maya brew yen no more, you know, Bequa can see no sooner own nature quite and money. But they be also there, the public knowledge. I be here, the Padudo is almost about Beboa, no matter tiny year or one day. We must be able to bring it out to the fore and say it.
I was a faban on chapa home meter Dunu Kono Won to Me TV and Won to Me radio so and a fiada avofidachi and ye di and come honorable Akwasi Kunadu mention of Fonina MP and menenate ha ye bon the party mun komo and the asha see dia enche be remon brashe fie na fi o mining chichire amamu na nkasa so no ye betie sim adi eno so enho enkomo. Do you believe in spirituality?
Yes, of course. Look at spirituality. I believe in spirituality. I don't mean spirituality.
And how it can manipulate or change the fortunes of elections.
Say spirituality is some way. Okay, be submit like I say religion, and Karl Marx says is the opium of the masses. And I'm yes, why not? Because me two way nebia or hinewa kwa so nebia so for culture say me hwe hu wi asimo no. Me hu say what the ma ohineba obeya de enasne chairman nesto. Oyi nipa wo gidie wo ebi a so fun anameboa. Ebi ono so wo na adwena ode ka ho. Because be ohine even in spirituality, you would idea actually. Our self-interest. Your self-interest in the spirituality. Me and Mr. Christo, me born say Christo Bob family one mako heaven. They also Allah. A born say day dear chino. Obefa no na gede. Edna cobra baby a what here. No na kwa kotina no nya asumdwe. The ogun say that chini ankwa ma no. So ko ewiase a ewa chiri ni mu a. Obaka koto na nanu mama ne tran be pa. It is his interest no serve. Ti kwan be ofa so you be able to convince all other persons na interest be mu no. E ka ho. Enti say eno done there is a matter of using that to convince people. Yes. And how anybody uses that to convince people no there. When they do time be cry no bit me translate kanche. A bit my can say so kono ankoye ni say ya. Me hunu. E ba ne say me bompa ya ma wan we dey na me be yom.
The last question I maybe saw on part na fi moving on because it is gradually also becoming an entrenched position, an entrenched view of a section of our party people are report to be a baby and can once a more. Those people who hold that view, you cannot convince them or change their mind. That who must and assume must contribute to Yelusu because of our candidates. And people are making a strong argument of that. How dangerous? But how dangerous is it for the party, and how do you want the party to manage such a situation?
And it is very dangerous. And let me tell you, mesum any kwan sisi me kwan e wo me nim die ho ametimi die aboa obia nu awakwa akwada surgical table so obia nu awokọ awoye a okobusa se ohene okọ baptist na okọ roman ansan waja we say hweme obia nu okobusa so e muslim ni ana so e christian. Everybody wants the best.
Yeah.
A bad ye beboa ya me abrabo masitri. We want the best. So I don't think that should be. Then why? And the constituencies that we believe are dominated by a certain religion. We lost that constituency whilst we had that candidate. Your constituencies are your names a constituency way dear. Anye bia nipa dudu omni nipa numu enwa. But we lost that constituency to maybe a minority a year. It is not about that. Because you are way, and I'll tell you, one way now but the dominant force now walk anymore. I never be beyond Toncha. Me tell me Yedianani, Yenia you call near Wasna.
Maybe Asunani.
Oh, Yasunani. In Jana Asunani Emra, no made me Edianani so. Why do you want to go? Do you want to go that angle? Young angle no. Abu Buana ye wono. Still na oko from Sadenia noa. Ujidie wo mu na ne menyepe me aduane ne abibu a mechiri wo ya so ne abibu a wo chiri ana meboa enti ekwan bi se bebo ebra wo bibi ho wan hwe yi a bidru bibi no ye bakwa ma akwa wie se obi a bi a ne maame ye ntafo nkwankwa ne bi also mudiga na mampanyi because I know mine chechire sitie. We should be very careful. We must always there be a young hwe de ye ni asom ne de se bi me se ye wo meto so minimu
yeah
and the medidimu na medaso timu akọ Roman, akọ Anglican, akọ Pentecost, akọ Baptist. If you be Kobe, it doesn't mean say enuntino. I am not worthy enough. Say be a metimi aya debies. No, the uncle sorry grassway. The unsum be asway. There are people in this world. Nipanumbu we are saying one nyami be any. But omukrano said one abra boko ne nimbebre. Ye try me kako China. You try me kako China. Omu ya Christopher. But everything in this country, which my country say mu be do si ade ehon ye kofa free. Oni ye free ha. Eko Arab states, Muslim countries, eko ji ahome. Eko ji ani wo ho se ho efe. Sebi so nsum Christo, onye Christo ni. Ebi Muslims. Eko Dubai enye Muslim country. Kat enye Muslim country. I don't think say anybody can strongly convince me say it's because of that. And elections na then this is what would have happened for me. Kami nipa be MP mudu MP ameto aban ebi ankomo to maame no mo tutia ni candidate ne dia anke bi e be me say
okay, so the 10,000 who refused to vote in your constituency, Senkomba Tuma, when you're 39,000.
Yes.
And I can 49,000.
Kaminya 29,000. Sibian Kaminya me 39,000, no. And they be a presidential no cross so tiba from bear 29.
Then you say
then I would have
for doors no constituency into the candidate
and money
I am Muslim to my uncle.
That is the
way the Omama Tuama. I have taken time of going through this, and last time I checked, I realized Reverend in team for your constituency. That about now you vote to Seneno.
Reverend
or a sofu.
I know we lost Sunyani
East and West.
East, yeah. Miami or far
as much
we lost that seat to Said Mubarak,
a Muslim.
As in Central, we lost that seat to a Muslim.
Central, yeah, Mijima.
Let us know, yeah, at the Kodie, rather than say the idea ye sooner in Yanuano, the man will play a certain critical role into the bay. And if you when you padu drea, you were a party in meaning and will be added and one don't be. But why we now use as a criteria and but I don't see that as a reflection in the results that happened in the 2024 elections. I don't, unless I'm convinced. But as of now, the me any day any day, I don't think so. And that is why I say, Yenya Butrena, Yama 15 no sooner than Emeka. See 15 Emeka. Then it can give us a clear understanding as to what may have happened.
And the party management.
Going forward.
Mama, you are home. Meba Sumeba na your parliament. Boyano Mache.
So, Eba.
Now, where?
Yamiadum.
Pork Abnayando.
Aye. Na, Oheneba. Oh, say, and nay, exactly 1 year. Yenuya, lawyer John Kuma.
Yes.
A film.
What 7th March, eh?
Yes.
A day after 6 March.
7th March.
Yeah, anyway.
Na, me raho.
JK.
And so, Enyame, I shed the audio share a Christopher. Any na ne say. Bibia Moyam,
and run you murder me, say.
Emmanuel.
My Facebook, we are poppy.
Yeah. 67th independence celebration. Why at all?
Enti, Humachino, media me sorry calling down.
You went there.
Oh, don't come, my dear. Me say, official day. You be dear. Copy mo say, Nyamino or two or frere, no. Ono abe hun say, na nipa epenasem, na nipa edono. Na obeye nipa yie me de meka say I'm a beneficiary of him. Ne motivation ene ne moa sonko party ni a odo nipa odo party for o ti ase odi enkenyan sonko eba amayoku a ye friend no NPP mo. Enti me de I don't think say John Kumadin no will forever be forgotten by people omunya personal encounter. What you say? I think say you will call be so a friend John Kuma Foundation. Almost so ye bibia edibesi ho na ye nkaidum amano na media the America chire obi bia ne say o bobra bia no a bobra ebe tache nipa se ne ebe ya uni ho a nipa nyina no ebe kai se ne a uni wo mo eyeye se binya sika o na mom se John Kuma be hu na obe hoahoa no abo udin na wato wo mu no eye ade a na eye mefe because baby okodu ye no there are people who had positions our mo party mu a utimi kra no aben no what you say pa John Kuma baby o we enso so da ne da nyina no otimi eboa ema nipa etimi ben ne sa no ade a eye aniso nyame engusua no mfa ni sie mayen nyame engusua no mfa ni sie mayen na John Kuma saman ne makobo mpaye ho ma frɛ no se o meboa yen o meboa yen papa ewo abatwa ye ba beto 2020 na nya na minua kwasi kunadu ekan chese factors na ema yeluzu ye no obi enu ho otiase odi scientific ho anyina afamu a enye o yes muslim obehwe na muslim awini won ho na kristo ni da fom obehwe na kristo ni awini na muslim da fom eti me se me no me ntiase ade akoso no me ntiase eti no nipa pasa no na owo party no akoma eda ne so na wadwen ye ho no nyame no a omoaye na omfanisie na da edi akire a ye nyina no obefre ye nyina no enim se ebekwa kuhwem na paradise na yaka no ye nyina ne na bom
obekobi
na me nkobi nam tie ye den Oheba rabo ye bo nyina no se ye benya na nya sanka mate asim
obekwa heaven ni
me say se nya heaven a se ge nyina ya te asim
ka wa chese die mbem
ade mo ye yi
hwa mo
nye heaven no na twitwa ni ba kwa mo ama barrier saba betom etiro ye nim se nyame ebe hye ye den madan kwa ma
ye wo ye nyina achi
me say
senye heavy ka ba bi fufu bia ka mo
enke west we na heavy no the when kwato so ye na atwon o ti ase enti no be de nyame no amoaye ti ene Oheneba mesre se ye nyina no kai no cause no ye nipa papa o ye nipa o wa akoma pama osonama yeko me de mi gidi pa se jonkuma ti ase a wotena ho a enkankunimde be NPP for dia
I have said several times we might have lost the election but the quantum of votes we lost in the Ashanti region Ebian Kenya sir
not just no I prepare
because I knew what he was doing with the regional research officer and the constituency research officers
enye adekitwa na minua akwasi kunadu susu de me de me huna na mani age especially chairman NS Koku aje wo penasemu na enye me nwanwa senior openasem because ono na oninu edilia na nipa bia so no dia wo ye bia no nkrofo a wo nche na moma ye hunu yie pa na oye ni papa ba ni den de ya wo nse o tasty power kakra bi o o ti ase
injury time
deputy minister for natural lands o ti ase a ho hye ni ese you free horse ano ti ni den de ya sin ye nyina ya de but sa 9th parliament we say ni o ma mo what GS Gracia Gracia abadia enkofu egufie bi o manu mu twa wo no yes Gracia papa dia me kakra ne say
munye deputy ministers munye
yenye S Gracia MPs ni S Gracia ministers ni S Gracia idea ni S Gracia Oheneba
mujina nya significant anasa munye kora
yenye S Gracia
and they are different.
You see, that is the problem. I think that we need to address that. When we call Parliament, we read them on the 6th of January 2021.
21.
Yes, so I mean, Mr. Timejumano, 7th January 2021. As I said, Mr. Timejumano, I'm a Timejumano call in a year on the 6th of January 2025.
Yes.
When I get you about Copenhagen. Increment be a public servant, civil servant, receive be no parliament on your be.
Mentasi.
What's an any aqua salary increment 10%?
Yeah.
Affecting.
Now what is
affected parliamentarians?
They be affecting. Yeah, budget year best start year 3 as salary in the public sector workers and civil servants money a day in being from my.
Momo de wada ben.
And only a day no. Into se bresso near ready sa fi betray amawa. Then we calculate that back pay no. Okay, I say so be him man penny ko for penso. And I'll say that. Then we are no more nurse for money a day near my baby. So we are no more to takrola s money a day. Say back pay aba. And half NS Gracia.
Okay, so aketiano ni aboabo no ase bia ntumu kakra
akatia ntumu na yebenya no ema ye no eno na ye ani ewie ni ye keke wakatua ntumu ni edo ade amawa yes yes Gracia
Sir,
ask anybody.
Honestly,
you see,
I am lost on this.
Let me tell you, me say ask anybody, and I can show you my pay slip from January of 2021 up to December of 2024.
There hasn't been any increment.
There hasn't been any increment. The only increment I have 6 months. I'm going to deputy minister. I'm going to account 600 Ghana cedis. Me say 600 Ghana cedis.
When you became a deputy minister,
I am telling you,
Sika yedika waketu ya now as MP no
600 Ghana cedis. Me anu bi kura nyabi.
No,
that is how it is. Do you know why? Because you see, why? You see, never na make and you botra. You be pray and never be bremo. And do you know why I ain't minka? Because we are afraid to say it. As you say, once I walk up, be promoted the BS on to Abamount. They know your face even more than the president because on the BR. And people feel say you are a few privileged few. Ma obi ntino maimu na de enka nchen say ye to akache ma de atwen emoni ade e bia afia na mfie mienu achi no
zenka ya to akache mi
e ma da
a teacher for mo ntwen why wadwuma nyina obekọ pension no na calculate nyina ade aboma ma mo as gracia
what busa asem no eye salary arrears back e bi na to ye nuanu mienu o mo koye no ye ko rajon kuma menua pen me ne ko pokwai no em senior no school prefect o he was an orator no what French side
ka French
John no ye be ma kwan bia no ana school prefects MS speeches ye be school MS speeches but started be a whole page French. Yes, the day he died Yawada,
yeah,
the Friday that's I was among 4 individuals who could identify, and the body was 37 for postmortem. Yes, and I still remember the feast, and that's what that table so I was saying.
He was laughing.
Yes, I still remember the feast. If we answer the neko funeral home, we were only 2. And Adjo. Enim yawenim kumewu honorable Ernest yawenim menini mienu.
So who was it to you?
Ewi ansa na me kwa akusi no ni fie Ernest ansa na me kwa so me driver free amasama abesina kofi ye nam kwa so ye ko idu baby e bobo mu kwan bisa wana kan mu ye dududu nyunyunu asama me kan abusa anim. But that is how life is. That is how life is. You never call Dako. What do I say? But I mean, because a giant Nambiano, so no enche.
A giant Nam.
Yes, a giant. Him. And everybody has a purpose in this world. It be our own, I want to say. But you're born on the what you say. You're born Nipano, what you say. So once it is done, for me, it is done. And the woman where I never hear is that we learn from what has happened. Any Nipane brand or boy and we are commending that, and probably replicate that.
What have we missed in him?
Me as a person, there, I was say he was my brother. Said John. Oh, wait me for you saying that. Ebi amrena na oyenya aswafa be chain obisa. And magic akra bi na ne momfa na montimi fa nkoye adwuma. Emoni adem. He was because me no me senior no me in the cool school emoni adem. He was a different person. So he tells us that what he did right is what we must also emulate. And oye na eye no. Eni aso yen faso fanya bi. But se yetena ho na de bi ebema na yawo ni mu to consumers. One week I will not even recognize the good in him. I was yeso ye bi man foforo. What they say? Because they be an bema why they were boto. What they say? We must remember him. Maybe even enjoy, knowing very well. So, but yeah, idea assessor was way. And then I'm here to friends who man whom we must be glad for that. For us who believe in heaven, so be a would you be a benefit we are so work at your party mount. Of course.
Heaven, no?
Yes, after 105 years.
We'll be 105 years.
Yes, I know I'm near I can draw or 10 extra, but I'm feeling memory and I'm a
heaven.
Yes.
Oh,
of course.
We're not the same community.
Heaven by grace, just by your hard work and deeds. By grace, and also count. Now, Papa, and that is how it's supposed to be. That is it. But the point should be made. Right. But same. So it is not as gracia.
Back to your I love that conversation, that the angle I want to introduce you into our conversation.
That is what it is. Oh, you may say.
Tell me, mama for bomu trisua na as gracia o sikaya tamama omo ama obi kwa the campaign say orenia obeta as gracia.
Okay. You ask that person.
And wait, I know Ghana need to aba man because of Sasam now okay no.
Oh, you know. And because why we bedroom we no. Yeah, my politics no any this are grown because my country is me. I'm not a politician. I play in the space of politics. So they say, I play in the space.
Play within the space.
Politics is an institution of society. There are about 6 institutions. Yeah, well, health, marriage, religion, and money. And the politics is one of those institutions of society. The political institution of society. Your educational institution or marriage institution or health institution or entertainment institution, or I play in one of those. One plays in the religious institution. One way a church from plays in the educational institution. One person can play dual role in dual institutions. That is how it is. Ask that person. Now can't ask him. Man penny and no base. I'm not a parliament. You're to naketu muda. Ask any parliamentarian. And I'll be glad. Any animal or more NDC, ask any of them. Say in fear 9 no, you're in a parliament there. The number of times that you two are kept it be 21%, 15%, 4%, 30% at that same year. The last one cry was I think about 21% or so. All of those incrementals now about a fibiano. Ask yourself, say parliamentarian Ben and the pay slip I could also. Ask that question. Onim when you say your ponko and access finance forecast him say a money in hand today is worth twice that amount of money tomorrow. Lost income any penny and infina, nobody talks about that. But look what come say answer and ameboa say jina so be MP money hadi. Madanya be your paphobia so senaketia. Anybody who comes to occupy that seat will require someone to be trianica. Let us be candid and face some of these discussions. Now, evidence in 20 who say it here. We are not saying it so as to justify, but that is what it is. The amount of money I received in January 2021 is the same amount of money I received for all the 48 months. All the 48 months except the 6 months and the
and I say 600
Ghana cedis nebeka ho.
Obeye 6 deputy minister 600 they can waketu na
600 Ghana cedis. Why must we lie about those ones?
And you didn't this if we could double salary. Because they don't come with that.
Me chese omo
here as ministers nessa.
As okay.
So much double salary.
Enyema mu be bia mu bia beti ase. So dey ase. And we have right to information and name anybody at all can go and request for that. Maybe probably somebody will tell you say yeah. But I'm telling you say that is what it is. Enti so hene say yaketuan tumu kra on the average. On the average in the last 4 years, so yaketuan tumu one year you'll be looking at almost about 17 to 18% and 19. Multiply that by Obia Sebi the fancy MP Aketua AMP Medun. Then multiply 19% no. Multiply 19% on a monthly basis. You they can Aketua. I think I say. It do tembia. I can confidently tell you, and I'll say it. If in Soka Sawo yes monthly incrementals ne kra na won san kanoa. Yes, salary arrears now. It be at the quantum look almost say try to go because you came to say yes, Anieka. Of course, yes. So it is not as gracia. We must be very candid. It is salary arrears because me may receive any increment in my salary. That one I can say.
Arrears any account the amount.
And on the bonny woman, but because I say most often than not, and I win him. On say the arrangement for salary increment, no. I was saying, I was saying that negotiation, the maximum should be done in probably maybe 6 months into your tenure now buying, so that not cost harmony. But we have because of the distortions that would occur. eno money ade ni ntino. Oh, Biabu said even the government doesn't even get the time to do those incrementals for those cohort of money ade. To be we now feel now yeba beye eno de amount no because it comes at your terminal end in ntino. You categorize that as an ex-gratia ye de ma se fakofi. But no.
Na adena Papa John Mahama de ye campaign no. Mahama bontia mekasa.
You know, we've always said this. Man, this is not the first time I'm engaging in this. It is not the first time I've engaged in this discussion. It is even not the last time we probably would engage in this discussion. And even to the extent of yes, it will be the car loan.
Car loan, yeah.
Or you know what, untumi.
He said, the mama Land Cruiser bako, pick up bako.
What I say?
Sana Martino.
Intino obisa miyem desu obisa. Obi ama obi asa. Misi akwesi kuna nkebe me de. Si abeto ka ni atwere gu ho. Mention of constituency. Need the see for the office. Ohenem kame ha me home mrebim. Unma de kudi ntia. Enyam na me service ka no. So misa.
Yeah.
Ne tie ju enyam na meye. Ne head gasket se enyam na meye. Boso me so anane servicing period du enyam na be ko Toyota akwa yeden akwa kotua hoka. The institution of the state
will take care of it.
Will take care of that. Or you know what I say? What's more if you been Duri, Wale? What's more if you Tamale Central? What's more if you Hoho Ketunov? What's more if you Swaman? Swam ran on the Kawasema. Sabusma about managing Tiade, and I'm managing Tiade. Good. Nipania many be. So the person would ask, say, Mira, about one wafa mejuma. Timeso se jina mechi, na me fuma ketu ya ni bi enkwaji busia. Na me fan toka amfanye mejuma. Bosume so amian meton petrol, me am beko service, me am me family driver. The head gaskets here meche. There are government cars in this country. And the head gaskets inti etinye si mechanic shop for 6 months. Me bwa kan se bwa. Yeah, the see mechanic shop for 6 solid good months.
Terminal, nya battery now. Terminal.
Headmaster se okruma sabi aban toka amomo.
Yeah.
Ye hu sa aban toka se ye chema schools. Ye hu na beza phone you suka ni bi. Ye hu no.
Timomo de no. Eye mwakatua na modi no kwaje bosia.
Ekwaji bosia.
Na wa watua.
Na watua afri wakatua ni mu. Na aban ni di agina mu na di ama wo. Ya ma loan for one banker. Unkoma wo employer ensign.
Onim say car loan.
Why?
Obiara nim say a loan bosia. But to some people sika about time mama say jokoto car.
Na dey tell you car loan. E dey tell that so say loan. Wa kra wo ka no. How do you go nipa no?
I think the have a strong PR for yourselves.
Let us be candid. Me say what's my
anybody be time uno and a bit more of a bed because they think money is free.
Let me ask you, it is a nipa ni free achuma constituency. Free constituency a con crime or bed. We can say I say bit my for VIP there, no problem. And the case come from 5 VIP in Fanco. Only we do certain things on home. I feel once a bedroom maybe no say the kind say canina MPs no be any ADC or the police need energy. What happened? Everybody in this country advocated say they need protection and
yeah.
But should it have happened, protection need the kind by and son. Take it from me, and then you come see more master from for 2 years, you more home by. Uncle headmaster fear, say security man.
DC,
MC, security man, enter movie. But I've told you, say, me sorry, no pa kobo bi punu no pa. Say me call house to house on top and farmer minima buy. Near 1 year from punchuma, because you know him. It's everything about you be no money at the end. The person feels say, oh, the old bar some money at the end. That is what we do. But I need be the end send city any day. We must be bold enough to say yes, regardless of how long maybe be a chai and kai and money at the end. We've contained that because I mean, society and life must move on. But we must also be bold to say you can and confront it head on. Well, say car loan, so a bar.
Paul, we are ready.
Me.
Oh,
Debbie. Me dear, I've had opportunity to live with Honorable Masoku Fujuma. What I say? For MP for 8 years.
Yeah.
And so, what me niema bibiri say. I didn't say that yet. Now, besides, see a crowd, because I regret it. What you say? And some of the things, you know, na opepa no. Sa opepa no anywhere. Emma dia open no kra no. Me kan say. Senyo opepa na edi wanimu a enka dia wo ye no kra no ubejai. Is that some okay?
Me kaisa somewhere October, September. I said it here. Say I am taking interest in some MPs projects. Which Kwesi,
yes,
and Admaku Mensa.
Yes.
I had deliberately took interest in whatever they do.
Yes.
Omurua Parliament, you know.
Yes.
And then the primaries.
Yes.
And I'm a day also a chan ujabe.
Yes.
Bekwai, Ralph, and Dapa, Ebeka home, and as Nyako, Nyako de Anfa, I didn't jam enough or not. So I deliberately be part of the Omuye Bia. Question to you, that's what I make. When I deliberately decided, say I'll be part of the Omuye Bia. Whatever going on, constituency, or more parliament, their publicity, many people who do more. When you get closer to them, you will feel for them.
Yes.
Yes.
You will feel for them. But you're creating a DB around them as he say, say, Omunyaska, Kromseska from into Ubusani Bia. Tuesday, I was with Dapa.
Black Chinese.
Yes, sir, from Black Chinese.
I'm friends. Now,
in short toy, the constituency, about 30 schools
go to Kumawu. Kumawu said the same.
Schools 30. Obi akwa parliament afend we 2 months.
Yes.
About 30 schools, one community there. And no many ko about half of the community omo dan swap.
Hey.
Yes, that's I think.
Na keto 15,000 to 20,000. And when you are with Kwame, the calls he receives a day.
I know my kind man. 6:28 a.m.
Emu 80% a request. And so I think we should consciously discuss the MPs. Na atade bi a yede ahye mo no. Mo yasakwa mo babua enipa no bebre because ebinum dimirika ba hono mo a they don't know what it is in there. Obedru hono mo why frustrated.
There are people who regretted entering that.
And Oheba, I was say ye kama ne e mankofo eti ase. Hwe da bia me boche ma untumi din a ana se me kana asema. Aya na nipa ne bebre ntimase. Chema untumi na ama party aya akono. What is going on in this region, you know? And yes, I know cause other regions too. Now some was other colleagues, 16 regional directors of communication. They are all envious of me. But now they were there now with me a year near Massa. I'm saying because I have an able chairman. And to one more pray. Yenya bibia ma wamu no medi regional chairman no. Wamu ba. And now halfway. Ashanti region ombehu ne say sana wuntumi oya ade papa chama wuntumi me say ye be fin rough ebia no wokoye national chairman yi ena obehwe say because say we regional chairman da no obenya sa experience no na wade aboa ni colleagues regional chairman etimi I will move heaven on earth. Said dia memi metimi biara. Me ya manako. Because you see you know. Yan kofa obi. On the regional chairman da. Now was to pretend over regional chairman. Nemo among them. Me I not believe in people who have risen through the ranks. Ama umabedru baby aware. Utam nipa no akosi sro ho a. Onfa de enimu. So it becomes difficult. What you say? A man for sacrifice power. Now, kwasi kura wa komi enu nda wa kwa ba kukura de. De wa kwa ba kupa yetu na kwa times ni nyina.
ebi akwasi beka achiro ye Razak ye first time MPC se party no anye deliberate attempt bia in their second year they be public pronouncement so omunko biu your first time MPs not even Ashanti region kwa I have been engaging them I've been speaking to them me say ebinum I communicate to their constituency executive say omunko parliament ni biu because enfonyina omu abonti omu hu ye no omu rafie ho no enye se especially ebinum oho no a ebinum anti real estate ebinum ye lawyers omaye omu adwuma abobre nyeska omu koye pieces amabe parliamentarians e draining omu rather
because won't be any public engagement there apart from parliamentary now
limited
even so by business because this is called parliament and I say on
yes you have to write to remember holding office for profit
your friend is saying a juma now person
say en conflict with juma or
parliamentary duty now and sign a parliament manage mama na ye
o man kwan mo
man kwan amana ye other businesses the okano no press sanity man say me ya dey and na me transfer to also stadium obenya wo na me transfer to also
I go to me sir
wona na metiba dia to so se me no wa wona na metima yo sa so eba tama ye to aba no e ka kire wo se ye wa MPC a party no e mo resource election day resource o mo fon koye adwuma me se bi mu di ye bi mo amfani so ba kaya
ye
mo di ye o mu di ye ye wura yo ka
you have said it a number of times
you wura yo ka
nyeso otiana oka what can say
nyeso otiana meka background information check around person me nyina me ye oka ba ko na obo ni din Collins Adomako ono so kan omo mo nka ho ne de mia me she da catch omo constituency omo drain omo omo mo nka ho say de mo anfanye
nti o honju mo nkoje
mo nkoje party for no nkoje scan flow mo papa we do ana onyembe ye friend is saying onyembe ye deputy minister no be any no ye you see
ye shop politician atade bia ya hwe adako onam ho a no be den sa ateno so we MP minister na man for the bebo for no reason because they have been provoked.
Yeah, they have been provoked. And now some of them are very liberal and they are very cautious in their your friend say public utterances. Bebre omo mo twese asem ne ma omo ho. Bebre.
Yeah.
Bebre.
The created impression be say
obetima yesi owo see. Nti bebre o even though we sympathize with them, especially party opposition. The kind of normal form e ade e di. But bebre o omo no criticize asem na e de ma omo. But no crop until be I am be say uni parliamentary na juma. And I think consciously I was saying we should go back to the core duty of a parliamentarian. Yes, I didn't. Parliamentary.
They should initiate the conversation themselves.
But yes, I am more.
And yes, sir, press camera me.
I'm telling you, the core duty of a parliamentarian. Say, you started I didn't. I'm a man for whom the core duty of a parliamentarian. I dare bet you know, Nipa even no more parliamentary. And this I'm a man of from what it.
Bye bye.
There will never bye.
I Sunyana West name.
Yeah, I for that's the kind of people that
somebody told me. Yes, you need delegate system in free. Say ye none a constituency. A nipa 5,000. Was it between 5,000 and 10,000? And a bet to abana. The very day of Befe, the idea said obey MP no. 2 years I had to saw the Bayer Prime Minister of Union. Sika was spending our kind. Obey to me 1,800. Ediama enipa
5,000.
Between 5,000 and 10,000. 10,000 per. Obey to me 1,800.
Yes. Minim say never kono okada some show because minim say that day no never kono win election that day no mu ye
sika omu tu ready no. I think there should be reorientation about.
So have you seen that it is not the numbers of people?
Yes,
it's not the numbers of who come and vote. But I may say what he see, I'm making a certain conscious effort and take away the selection process at times and free a classified group of people. Even Mr. Parkas and Obian to be
because
so the same problem.
All Cadbury maybe 2 times, maybe 3 times. Forget to say Kwabri is delegates say 1,004 so
1,004.
Me so the 1,004 no Kwabri is over 100,000 voters. Men could do 20,000 so many baby in the I can still tell you about better become the same thing. Because and maybe it would even be worse.
Because honorable Mincha one conference
to be worse.
Conference about okay, money for 20,000 at Tuaba. That first parliamentary primaries now. But candidates minu sika omutuano obi abenya 2,000 nipa 20,000 obi abenya 2,000
so with it ka unim de kebesi o say wo kan bia nipa ne kakra bi afo say afo ba betena ba nipa 20,000 kwatu aba so we should be very careful
na abufo na more
so we should be very and it will not end up with every single and now mo hene assuming 20,000 for say eyo chocho mucho e wo party mu kra na ai but I can't see na woko. The other person will feed into that. Me pa brama bre, but nobody. If you can't independent say, ni pass me sikwa. You can't pursue anymore. But back can na man get party ban no cover 20,000. It will bring the same thing. Or any me say ya we ewo yen tempe iso a. Ewo niema yeti ho would end up with a greater problem on our hand. I mean, we are all politicians. Party ni na say politics. And we practice some major money at it. And is if for Kobe. Ekoyi in
2014-16.
I'm looking at our prime minister. Why did they require? I almost have free the omukoye anymore. We've seen we have various types to learn from. To hear a peculiar situation, you know, and the dynamics of it in one. When you want to know what she said, Shiano. Baby, any quantity.
Razak.
So when they make an say, it may kind say the idea of say win yes, easy fire.
That is the point.
You are not careful, I did bet you know. Ubi be blaming the year and the ma account say on the my loses our 2024 election.
Doesn't mean you
and you know, say, Omo Jim call for your mono. Because Omar recorded 230 cases, the Anusu Kahumbi. Omo Jim call for your number for girlfriends. Ndi yabeki kansa na
you make cancer and no me share a one coordinator be your friend Mr. Tamaklu or voter or a coordinator or your friend is Aflau. He said the same thing. Say yen try say we will move away from when the mayor lose. Be out your year because me maka me say probably recruitment am here no why e bet ma head to be.
Of course.
Yeah.
Recruitment am here no why probably I head to be.
But with good intent.
With good intent, but me so make count. And now the so-called and the Yaton protocol and the Yaton protocol and the Yaton protocol. Won't you shut them for one sir and see who won't get who said not to make it on protocol.
This is a MP account quadia. You be family.
You be family. One, it's young to your boys here, young to your boys here. Who end up blaming everybody. Me say because we be you do no. It seems Obia will be become. Obia can be abi. Like almost everybody is saying something. And I'm saying so. The opening for my MPs, for my ministers, opening for. In some more can about you, one can order. They have the experience. The experience is there. When you know your weaknesses, you don't bring it outside the game. You go into the room to solve it. Just say na message sometimes party before. Because party omo na be na enka. The omo here exemplary. Enti na ehu ya ye di ehu be shim. But meka adan meka no wa message time aye ma make Christian church am. How are you?
Ogede.
Yeah, Papa, the former president, you are Jonathan Kufo, Nini Akuma, Kwame Adukufo, and no more count, escape of no. Problem I can say they wasn't doing that. They weren't doing that. Certain no more leadership role. They try to manage the situation indoors. Memaka, Miss and then I parliamentary leadership role. In 1996 or in about you call Parliament as a friend said, as a new patriotic party, we didn't have a single leader from Ashanti region. We didn't have a single leader from Ashanti region. But Yekaiti boom, we were able to manage exactly 4 years. We need power, hands down, with a greater majority in Parliament. And in no way, any normal because we have a precedent to follow. It is saying a message a man for say. Yantu a boise. Yantu a boise. Yantu a boise. Yana me that's me job me office will be an ocean as a me back on the prepper. Is it ye baby or why you are there from your from you?
The party about power.
Me na me still ye nyam for obi share my name. But ye bibia every opera was the director ye see ni se me so trust. Well, the results has affected anybody, and my council, so everybody. My council, this result doesn't make sense.
It defies everything.
It defies everything.
So it should not be the basis.
I'm telling you, no spiritual leader in this country and who this result.
Me say, Omo Kekanya, a lack no munya.
No spiritual leader.
Odiophobia, unu bibia.
So me ade ba ko na me Yenjin tum as a political party say ye share Ghana for before no mutua ye ka. Yenjin tum as a group.
Yeah.
As a group say NPP ya anye bibi ye in government.
Yeah.
And the Ghana for decided say ombeto abayetia ye.
Yeah.
But no single individual and a ye way.
Tina ye kolusu ye.
Me maka the MPs were involved more than before.
Yeah.
The party executive were involved more than before. The resource that we were talking about were involved more than before. The first time regional chairman, Ashanti regional chairman, Wanji Bibia Monoboso, Ojai Bibia Ma Ubia more than before, we still lost the election. Because Obeka in 2020, they say, oh, Chairman won't meet Bibia Bonoboso, and one man in the man, you vote to so etier. Not forgetting that Tamana MP4 no. Before I can say, the finance minister messages. We were selling our own self. Time I decided say we will criticize our own party. We decided not to do it home. Me catch yourself. Now me one of the advocates and now calling for the removal of Ken Oforata. But then I MPC me catch yourself that was a wrong forum. They could have used a better forum.
Okay, Kosi, the mighty 88.
Yes.
How do you see the responsibility on you to hold the government accountable and also spice up the energy in the party, put us on the pedestal that would take us to election 2028 and eventually win it?
I mean, about JH more time and how the minority at that time, Eboyama, Yejina and Kodiano. It may be my area, it may be a G to me in the year 2000.
Yeah.
I've watched this movie before, the 300 Spartans. It has to talk with Greek mythology and the ancient Greece period. No, there was this king that they called Xerxes. One authoritative king, Xerxes. He tried conquering the world at that time, and no money at it. But there was this king called Leonidas on it, the 300. They had a period war, so he even defied that or match to hold Xerxes and the army. No, they sacrificed their life for mankind. Time the honors now on us. And we would have to sacrifice everything that we have for this country to make sure that there is accountability in governance. And secondly, also, we are not a destructive minority. We cannot be any bidder. But we would have to make our point. Because anye bia no so ne won hyehyede ane de ba ban mu ayi nim se san hyehyede no it's been tried and tested that eboa mo man kan krokonanim. It is a moment bana moye that I don't know the description that they give to themselves, but the name Hura Chimbawa
super majority.
It is interesting that maybe raise order 64 biano. They are caught in the web. Because even in the 187 that they have, I can confidently tell you, they cannot even assemble themselves in the room. It's yeah, said any asudia dias and they say one. And then 88, and Ababe in both angle, the party and also the government. So they are saying. And Niema say is that we must be on our toes. Stand firm. Make sure that we always give the superior arguments that we've always been giving. The tax whatever it takes. The number 88 or 187. Assuming it's 100 the crowd armor from their side that they are just about equal to our numbers. I remember in the last 4 years when I come to constituency, let me catch the say we are facing one of the greatest uphill tax in government. I been see that. They've never been a government. No what power numbers or abaimu and members of parliament yepe. They been see that. Obi obedim kunimbiano or numbers
absolute majority.
Yeah, absolute comfortable. It me even members of parliament ni nya kwanya timi call mechiba. So that's it. Bani nuanu montiase because 137 at that time 138 na near at that time no. A da wunni ho no. It means the government is totally gone. And it happened.
And especially our speaker on play so, and yes, but
the speaker was ready and willing say or boase beya whereby ni beguama ni dietimi aba. I mean that one you can't shy away from it.
That is why you are there and here.
Yes. In a nay on the majority that the NDC momunche omumu mienu pepepe 180 and 1990 omodo also sene by 2 7 they go no the 3 can 1 95 omodo also sene at every point in time as a 95 crowd with them they can do comfortable business. That same time that 95 now can be back in their constituency
working to strengthen their
party. Yeah, nyanisa what they say yeah nyanisa. But whatever it takes now no you'll be able to sacrifice and do that dual role. And I believe
they give you the space to do what
they will never
constitutionally want to do.
You see, they will never give you the space to do that constitution. Mami can't say about they make catch on. Enra echi. That was on the Wednesday. There was a motion about the dismissal of Yenuanuma Yefa Omu Ejuma. And America yo once the Yenuanuma edi. Now we're talking about numbers yepa Omama Kofi. But Yenuanum Bibri na your buy come fire Ejuma. So be yes a pamni pande. If you want to say if July, yes, I mean, I was in any money city. So we wanted to do a motion on that so that referrals can be made to a committee of parliament near him. So that I may be an similar shape phone, a bit boying, how continuously as we update even our transitional act. They say a parliamentary transitional act, your the presidential transitional act. And near me bet me aboying, I'm here to me the money idea because some of these things inform how laws, any rules, any regulations be crying it me the ANE. So we decided to do that. About my speaker, I admit him about other people soon. My majority leader, say or arrested the motion even from being laid by the minority leader. But presidents have told us, president, actually, even when the banking issue by people were being tried, they brought a motion in my parliament. Speaker refer my committee, nobody arrested that motion. Speaker said, you lay we now want some kind, then you say it. But the majority leader decided, so arresting motion back and front. The speaker, I know him, right here for honorable. See him 10 minutes now. On camera so that you make a ruling. Nobody know a printed ruling in excess of about 8 pages in 10 minutes. Typed.
Hey, typed. 10 minutes not go by. No? Printed ruling.
I am telling you. I was in the room. Typed. On the city. Just say no matter the argument that you intend making or them on it will not influence any decision because we are finding decision ahead of time. When that issue was raised, say I won't say speaker idea okay there cement a doom temo there. You cannot make such a ruling. And no money idea and even make references to the argument that we've made. and can't have
Don't so bank one chabe, koni be 30 minutes.
You see, what Okaka Obakacho say, I call Supreme Court on the matter of the majority minority. The learned judges say Omo Konoma ba. They went in conclave for about 1 hour or so and came back with a ruling and Kwane handwritten. Or just handwritten. And when they were giving the ruling, Oma ruling, so what's your ruling now? They make references to the argument, Vivo Vicar argument that have been made on that day.
10 minutes,
No.
No,
Many of you. So I don't want anybody to have the impression say Supreme Court for no call back my ruling. Theirs was in handwritten. And Omu making references to the argument that have been made on the day, which means Omu tie and Omu but wait the end there was no even reference under 10 minutes. There was no even reference to the arguments that have been made even by the minority leader.
Page.
Yeah.
Type it.
Type away.
Apprentice.